Where exactly do you feel like you're getting mixed up with range advantage? Is it spots where you're just out of position and checking a ton and then you're really confused?
Okay, so let's say I have like um, Queen 5 suited, 70 big blind dip,
Mm-hmm.
and I opened on the button. I get called by the big blind.
Right,
Flop comes like Queen 10 6,
right.
and I check back.
Mm.
Then
Mm.
the turn comes something like 7,
Mm-hmm.
and he bets into me, or, or let's say he checks and then I bet. So I mean, I'm not even sure what spot because there are so many different spots with range advantage, and I'm really confused.
What about that spot confuses you?
I'm not even sure. I
Right.
think we should just filter some hands
Yeah, that sounds great.
and check it out.
Sure. Yep. Share your screen because I can't see.
One sec. One second.
Yeah, take your time. Have you found the range advantage stuff helpful at all?
Yeah. I mean, when I have like, I had a few hands like that. I had uh, a pocket overpair,
Mm-hmm.
and the flop comes like deuce 3 7, and I check back. Then some some aggressive guy just barrel twice at me with big size. So then I go like check. I mean, I check shove on the river, and they are really confused and call me with like 7 9 with this third pair.
Right.
So yeah, sometimes it's really good.
Have you spent any time running the calculations for range advantage, studying it?
Um, Not really.
Okay,
No.
so we'll get into that too. So what's cool about range advantage is that it's gonna help you identify spots better, like what spots will be better bluffs, and that will also help you with over bluffing. So I think some of the mistakes, one or two of the mistakes you made with over bluffing, had to do with just bluffing in spots that weren't very good too. So if you understand the spots more deeply, you'll be able to make better bluffs and better spots.
Sounds good.
Okay, so
Can you see my screen?
yeah, we're good.
Alright. So what filter should I choose now?
Hmm. Um, so the spot that I first work on with people is they they raise and then they have the opportunity to c bet. That's like the first spot I work on for range advantage. It's the simplest spot and it's pretty simple. I think we'll start with some spots where you're out of position first because those are probably more trickier for you. So the way we'll do that is go to actions and opportunities, go to preflop, say raise first in. So preflop raises, raise first in. Okay, go back to actions and opportunities. Go to flop, flop opportunities, c bet opportunity, and go to hand details on the left, player position, flop, out of position, add to filter, top right, save filter. So these are like the most. Why isn't it showing the hands? Go to go to my reports. This might work. Now just do new report, hand report. Finish. And scroll down. Let me see if that filter's on. Yeah, the filter's on. Perfect. And just replay these.
Yeah, let's go most recent. Alright.
Okay. Alright, so who do you think has the advantage on this board?
Obviously he does.
He does?
Yeah.
Let's run it. So, you watched the session with Roe, or Roe.
Yeah.
Do you have Equilabs or Slice or anything like that?
Not really. Shall I download something?
Yeah, go Google Slice Poker. Yeah, see if you could download that. Okay, run. Next, 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 install. Boom. Alright, that was quick. Okay, so since you watched the session, I want to see if you could figure out how to do it on your own. And if you can't, I'll just help you out along the way.
I'm not sure I remember, but let's try it.
Okay.
So let's put in my range. So I have like this one, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you have all the offsuit aces.
Oh yeah. My bad.
You could click and drag too. It helps. Yeah, if you just click and drag, it'll take them all off, I think.
No.
No? Doesn't work for you?
No. Okay, so something like maybe this.
Okay, and then put in like suited broadways and offsuit broadways you might have. Those are offsuit, by the way. The orange are offsuit and the purple are suited. Okay.
Yeah, something like.
Something like that? Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Put in all the pairs. I think you have all the pairs there. You gotta close that one. Okay, put his.
Something like maybe.
So what's very important here is to not spend a lot of time trying to perfect his range, and I'll show you why afterwards.
Alright.
So just try and do it quickly and by feel. Like, don't stress over whether he has Jack 9 suited or if he 3-bets it or not. Just like either click or don't click and decide quickly.
Maybe something like this is flat into my open.
Yeah, maybe give him some more ace-x as well, I'd say.
Something like this.
Sure. Okay, and then type in the board. and then hit that green button, green play sign. Okay, so it's about 50-50 given the range that you gave him. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me show you why it's not that important to tweak his range. So add like 5% or something to his call range.
Um, let's go like something like this.
Yeah, add an ace jack off as well. Alright, there you go. Well, that was like 7%. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So
You can see.
even like adding that 7% or whatever did not make a big difference in equity. Like 1 or 2% here or there. It's not a big deal. But what is a big deal is spending 5 minutes or spending 1 minute trying to decide whether he has ace jack offsuit or not.
Yeah.
Or, giving him half the suits of ace jack because he 3-bets half the time. Like, it's just not a big deal. It doesn't affect the calculation much. So either write this down or ingrain in your memory when you're studying this stuff. Do not spend a lot of time assigning ranges. You can
Alright.
you can tweak ranges after you're done, like we just done, and see what happens. And typically, it doesn't make a big difference either way. Like you could even tighten your range by 5% or loosen it by 5%, and it's not going to make a big difference either way in terms
Okay.
of equity.
Sounds good.
Okay, so is this a spot you were kind of like confused in?
I'm not really. I used to just see that all of these spots, like where the board is paired, and I have like King X or Ace X. But this is a pretty easy C bet. But if the flop was like 6-6-8 or 7-7-8,
Mm-hmm.
9-8-8, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's much harder for me to see that.
Right. Okay, so another thing I want you to do, go back to slice. So it takes a while to set up the spot. I want you to spend a lot of time tweaking with the board. So like change that deuce into a 7 or something. Or change it into 8-6-6 and see what happens, like you were talking about. There you go. Now hit calculate. That didn't change too much. Try it 8-9-9.
7.
Yeah, or 8-7-7. Sure. Yeah, it's switching over to him. Now go to 9. Turn into a 9. $50-50. What if it's 10-10? And Jack-Jack? Was you surprised at any of these outcomes?
The 7 or the 8, I was pretty surprised.
Yeah. Why do you think that happened?
Not really sure. I just, I'm not sure if the flop is like 8-7-7 or 8-9-9, and he has a position on me. I don't think he's ever folded to see bet.
Yeah, me neither. I don't think he folds very often.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Right. So the thing is, so this is kind of like an ambiguous spot because you're like super close in equity, but we haven't talked about range advantage too much. But basically, you kind of do these calculations, and you try and make a guess at what the equity is before you hit calculate, and you keep doing that until you get really good at it. Until your guesses get closer and closer and you're able to do it faster and faster. Because you want to be at the point where you can be in the middle of a hand and be playing 8 tables or whatever and be able to know what your equity is, what your equity is, range on range, in a matter of a second. Like that's the end game, to not even have to think about it and know where you're at.
Yeah.
Right. So the question I have to you is, do you think range advantage is important? Why is range advantage important? And if so, why?
Um, I think it's pretty important, especially when you're out of position, because when there's a flop like deuce 3-6 or 4-5-6, 5-6-7,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of boards where you can't really see that without equity.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know who has the advantage and choose your action.
Right. Um, so in a spot like this where you're like 50-50 with him, pretty close, what should you do with your range? How should you play this spot?
Um, in this spot, I think it's pretty easy because he never has deuce 6 unless he has a pocket deuces somehow. But
Mm-hmm.
um, so it's gonna fold a lot when I see bet on this flop. But if the flop is like 8-7-7, 8-9-9, I um I mean I do have some backdoor equity and 2 overs, but when he calls, I'm in big problem
Mm-hmm.
because I don't really know how to proceed.
Right. Right. What do you think about? All right, let's go to another hand because it might highlight the point I'm trying to make. And we aren't going to get into turns yet, or maybe we will, but not yet at this point.
All right.
Okay, so raise here. This guy calls. Okay, who has the advantage on this board?
On this board, I'm pretty sure he does.
How much equity do you think he has?
Maybe something like 57%.
Okay, let's try
Just
to.
guessing.
Okay,
Let's try it.
I'll guess like 53 or something. I'll guess.
700. 47. Oh, it's
10 of spades, 8 of clubs. Yep.
so we have like 700 UTG, something like this, maybe. Um,
Yeah, take off like Jack 10 off, Queen 10 off, King 10 off. Assume you don't have those.
maybe this, something like this, I guess.
Sure. Go ahead.
Alright. And this range. Maybe I guess it looks something like this. Maybe.
Yeah, I'd give him ace queen too as well. Yeah,
Alright.
that's fine. Alright, now I'd calculate. Okay.
51.
Yeah, so it's like not a huge advantage, but like a slight one.
Yeah, but he has the position.
Right.
So-
So let me show you one thing here. So add into your pre-flop raising range sixes through deuces. Now I calculate. Okay. That didn't make a big difference. Okay. So what do you think you should do with your range in this spot? Not just your hand, your whole range.
I think I should check.
Your whole range?
Yeah,
Why?
because I don't really think I'm getting much value from anything.
So if you have pocket aces or pocket tens here, he has nothing he'd call you with?
I mean, when I bet and he just calls and the turn comes a brick and I bet again, I don't think he's ever calling. I mean, I don't think I have too many streets of value
Hmm.
unless there's a wet turn.
Hmm. So I'm not sure if I talked about this with you or Rowie, but I guess the question is, how often do you think he would bet if you checked?
Very often.
Right. And I guess a thing that and I'm not sure if I talked about, yeah, so if he was the aggressor pre-flop, so like, when he's the aggressor pre-flop and he has the range advantage and you're out of position, you just check your entire range, right?
Yeah,
Like, you raise, guy raises, you call in the big blind, you just check almost everything, especially on a
yeah.
board like this, right? And why do you do that?
Um, Not sure. Basically, I don't know, because he has the aggression. I mean, why should I just lead flop? It doesn't make any sense.
Because he's the aggressor? Why is that important? What
I
ad,
mean,
what advantage does that have, being the aggressor?
I just I just don't know what I represent by leading flop.
Right. Well, what
Because if he
advantage?
calls, I have no idea where I'm at.
Mhm. Well, so let's go back to what advantage does he have being the aggressor pre-flop?
That's a tough question. Um, I don't know. He has the um, I guess he has the opportunity to like his range is bigger, and I mean when I just call pre-flop, my range is capped, so
Right. Right. So
that's one thing.
that's the main thing. The thing you just hit on. By bigger, I assume you mean stronger. So
Yeah,
the reason being the aggressor is valuable is exactly what you said. He represents the stronger range. But
yeah,
that isn't always the case. There are some times when someone is the aggressor and the other guy can have the stronger range. And that
yeah,
happens all the time on the turn, especially when people oversee bet the flop. And then the turn comes, usually the advantage swings over to the guy who called,
yeah,
because the guy who bet flop as the aggressor is just betting all their garbage, and the guy who called is only calling like good hands. So the advantage switches over, and then in fact, like the guy who just called, even though he's the passive one, he should lead the turn a lot because the advantage switches over to him. He gets the real advantage. It's all about stronger range. Like being the aggressor is an illusion. It's like a facade. Like it's just all about who has the stronger range.
yeah,
And that is kind of how you should view this spot. Like when you call out a position, you always check to the pre-flop raiser because one, they always fucking bet, and this guy's always gonna bet, and two, he has the stronger range and he has position.
yeah,
So those are the main reasons to check in the spot. Like betting into someone who has position on you and a stronger range when they just do the betting for you, if you just checked, like makes no sense whatsoever.
yeah,
Right? And so that's like the stronger argument for why you should just check everything on a board like this. And another reason, and this is going to become more important as you get better and better at the game, is knowing where your range is at makes your life a lot easier. So, for example, say you bet with some hands and check with some hands in this spot. If you mix it up with your aces and your aces through jacks, and sometimes you bet sets, and sometimes you bet gutters, sometimes you check gutters, blah blah blah. That makes it very difficult to know where your range is at on future streets.
Yeah.
Whereas when you check everything, it's way easier to know where your range is at. You'll just know I check all of these and I have all of these. And I don't know if that sounds valuable to you right now, but at some point that's going to be really valuable to you.
Yeah, I mean, I had a few spots like on on this kind of board. I have aces. I bet he just calls. Then a turn comes like a deuce,
Hmm.
and I bet and he free bets.
Right?
So so it's like I mean I'm never good.
Yep.
So yeah, it's much easier to play the hand. I mean a lot of hands. By giving him the opportunity to just bet he's because he has the better range.
Yep. Exactly. Okay, so yeah, let's go to next hand. Okay, so who has advantage here?
I guess he does.
Okay, let's run it. What percentage do you think he's at?
Um, Something like 55, maybe 60.
Okay, I'm gonna say like 51 or something.
All right. Um, so basically something like this.
You don't open all those pairs?
Like those.
Yeah, you don't.
From UTG, usually not.
Uh,
At 30, 60.
I open them all the time. Why don't you like them?
Um, Basically, when playing on stars or like Poker King, Red Star Poker, I open. I play a lot more aggressive. But on this kind of home games, you never get faults.
Hmm.
I mean, sometimes the pot goes like three-way, four-way, five-way, and you're out of position with many players. So
How do you feel about like hitting a set though this deep?
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the point. What you say?
Huh?
I mean, yeah, that's a good point.
I guess so. Question is, a hand like say pocket twos. Do you think it goes up in value pre-flop the shorter you are or the deeper you are?
The deeper,
Why?
because if I have like 20 or 30 big blinds and I open deuces, like UTG or UTG1, I think it's really bad because when you get called out of position or you get free bet or even if the big blind calls, you're pretty much playing like set mind. You're never good. And 100 BB deep or like 150 BB deep like in this spot. And you really set, you could get a much value.
Yep.
And you don't lose like you lose like 1% of your stack if you don't hit your set.
Right. So exactly, like 20 to 30 big blinds is like the nut low for pocket deuces and stuff, but like 100 to 150 big blinds is great for pocket deuces and stuff. Pocket deuces
All
through
right,
fives.
sounds good.
Right.
Yeah, I'll take into the. I'll use it.
Right. Okay.
Um, I guess something like this maybe. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We could tweak it afterwards too. Fix the board.
Oh,
Okay, so you guessed 55 through 60. So let's see.
wow.
You have the advantage? Wow. Let's tweak his range a bit. Let's see what happens. Try and make it stronger. Take that. Give them all the pocket pairs.
So, damage 53.
Right. Okay. Interesting. I would have thought he had a slight advantage. Okay. So, yeah, I was off by like 3. You were off by quite a bit. So we both messed up on the spot. So basically, you need to get in a situation where your errors are, around the 1, 2, 3% mark, instead of like the 5 to 10%. It's like small differences don't make a huge difference. They aren't a big deal. Like, I don't want you to get exact. So basically, just plugging this in, and in general, like as a default, when your opponent has the advantage, a strong advantage, you kind of just check a lot, especially when you're out of position. But in position, it's like quite a big difference. So being like 50-50 in position is a lot different than being 50-50 out of position.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of an easy question, but why do you think that's the case?
Obviously, because you have the action advantage. I mean, when you're in position, it makes a lot of things much easier for you to decide. And when I'm out of position, he could have like a set of 6s here, and I triple barrel it into him, and like he's gonna call, and then when I barrel the river, he's just gonna shove.
Right.
And like, yeah, it's much easier for him to play the end.
Right. So this is basically just the start. Like, the turn is probably the most interesting part of range advantage and most difficult part, because equities switch so much and it requires a lot more ability to kind of. It's a bit more difficult because you have to do a bit more hand reading. But basically, this is where we're going to start at. And I want you to just put in the hundreds or thousands of reps that it takes to get good at this. Tweak the board, So don't just. It takes a while to find a spot, so now that you find one, like change the board around, like change the 6 to 7, or change the 3 to heart, or whatever. Keep tweaking with it. Keep making guesses before you hit calculate, and watch yourself get closer and closer. You can do this with time. Maybe you want to think for 5 to 10 seconds before making a guess, but you can shorten your time and give yourself, 1 second to make a decision. So keep trying to improve your speed and your accuracy, and just do this thousands of times until it becomes more like second nature. You will run into difficult spots, though, because it will have you checking a lot more out of position, and you'll have to develop more of like a check raise game, a check call lead game, which is kind of weird as the pre-flop raiser. But I definitely think you'll see some value from it as well.
Alright.
Okay, so the progression I want to go through is working on these simple flop spots, and then going into the more difficult turn spots after you master the flop spots. And after we go into turn spots, I'd like to dive pretty deep into that, and then either we'd move on to river spots or go back to flop spots and try and dig deeper into flop spots, because there's a lot more complexity to range advantage on the flop than just there's a bit more complexity, so that would be kind of like the learning path I'd like to take with this stuff. And yeah.
Okay.
So it seems like you're able to do this on your own. So the question for you for the rest of the session is, we can go over some of the hands you marked, or we can end the session here and do another one soon and work on after you put in some more study and go deeper into this range advantage stuff. Or if you had more questions, we can deal with more questions that you have right now.
My main question, are you free tomorrow?
I can be free early tomorrow if you want to do early.
How early?
Like 9 a.m.
Sounds good.
Okay, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, so if you could just tell me again specific things to go over, and I'll put a few hours into it.
Okay, so use this filter. Number one rule is don't spend a lot of time trying to figure out the range. Guess the equity before you hit calculate. Try to improve your speed as well. Tweak the board. And if something surprises you, try and figure out why that's the case. Why tweaking the board in such a way affected the equity a lot.
So this is all out of position?
Yeah, these are all out of position spots. You can switch it to like in position spots if you want, and I could show you how to do that. Okay, and
yes. So
the way you do in position spots is pretty simple. So go to your database thingy. Go to the more filters button. Scroll down a little bit, yeah. Add filter. Oh no, wait. You gotta go click add filter on the right, yeah. Hit that button. Hit ungroup. Where does it say? You see where it says out of position? Click that.
yeah.
Yeah, now go to add filter again. Hand details. Player position. Flop. In position. Yeah, pretty simple. Yep, and then save and apply, and you're good. And you could
All right.
you could scroll up for me. Yeah, and name this report. Call it in position a little bit lower. Close that. Yeah, a little bit higher, where it says new report 1. Yeah, call that like whatever you think is appropriate. In position cbet. Yeah, perfect. Hit that save button, that little floppy disk. Okay, so yeah, now it's saved.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Where do I see it now?
So you see go upper? Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. So
cool.
you could just click that drop down box and then it's there.
Nice.
Yeah. And then you could do the same for out of position too. And yep, hit add filter. Yeah, and then just call this one out of position range finder. Yep.
Oh no, I don't have the other one too.
What happened?
Yeah. I just need a new report.
Hit this.
This one?
Cancel that. Did you hit the save button?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe because it was the same report.
Oh, that's stupid. Yeah, do a new hand report. That's dumb.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, let's change the filters. Oh, so, yep, you know how to do it. Nope, hand details. In position, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, save and apply. Alright, now you should have
Alright.
two. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
So yeah, we can save, you have 20 minutes left, we can go over your hands, or we can save that for tomorrow, and we could do like a quick 20-minute session. I think short sessions are really effective, especially if I can get you something new to study that's going to help your game. And
alright.
I
Sounds
think
good.
I could do that. So yeah, we can do, since it's a short session, we could do 9:30 tomorrow if you want.
9:30 is like. Yeah, sounds good.
All right, great. So we'll call that a session, and yeah, I want you to put in this work. So when we go over turn stuff, it's gonna be a lot easier for you because it takes a lot more skill to do turn spots, but they're gonna be super helpful for you.
Alright, so I'm gonna put some work into it today, and I'm having a session later, so I guess we could go over the hands I play on the session. I will mark some hands for review, and we'll see how it goes.
Um, I would just run a filter for turn spots. You don't have to save any hands.
Alright,
Okay.
sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later. What
Bye.
you can do to speed it along is find the turn spots. Mark some turn spots, and if you can try and if I think of something, I'll let you know.
Alright, sounds good.
I'll let you know. All right,
Thanks a lot.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye.